The Lion King as of now has a 55% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes. Here's why. I'm 17 years old and going into my senior year of high school, yet I haven't seen the 1994 Lion King film, and I know that may come as a shock to many. It's held by most as the best animated film of all time, and based on what I've seen, it's an absolute cinematic gem. Now, when I heard Jon Favreau was set to direct a live-action reboot of The Lion King following his success with The Jungle Book, I was very, very skeptical. Why remake the most beloved Disney classic of all time? In looking at reviews before I went to see the film, I saw it had a 55% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was absolutely shocked to say the least. How could a classic film like this, remade with realistic CGI, only have just half the critics liking it? I read countless reviews and saw the same criticisms over and over again, with only the occasional difference. Seeing this definitely took a toll on my expectations, but inevitably, I still went out to check out the movie. Now, having seen the movie, I have a different opinion on the film than most. I feel like it was a well-told, directed, and acted film with the best special effects ever to be on the silver screen. While the emotion of the characters was iffy at first, it got better as the film went on. To put it simple, this movie had me very, very emotional. Keep in mind, this is coming from a guy who didn't grow up with the 1994 film and barely has seen it. On my review page, I gave this film a rating of good with an 8.6 out of 10. I had a great time with this movie, but many, as you know, haven't. Why? When it comes to remakes, they're a very weird part of the movie industry. If you remake a movie and change something, you risk polarizing your audience. On the other hand, some remakes are exact remakes of their originals with something tweaked in the making of the film. The Lion King 2019 is one of those films. With all these Disney remakes, they've been both of these types, but have also been highly criticized. The question at hand is, why is this necessary? What are you adding to the source material? The answer, in some cases, may be a different retelling that adds new layers to the characters or themes. But this answer also may be that of The Lion King, CGI, or in some people's opinions, simply nothing. This is the central problem, I believe, that causes a lot of fans and critics to turn against this movie. They don't think it's necessary, they think it's a cash grab, and because of that, they go into this film with a tint over their eyes. When they see the movie and they notice it's a shot-for-shot remake, they are quick to point out that the film is pointless and that it simply isn't good. They point to the easy answer of cash grab, but aren't all studios geared towards profit? Inherent in the idea of a remake is that you're using the same story, but building upon it, bettering it. That's what this film attempts to do. They use new technologies that weren't available 25 years ago to make a different retelling of the same story. Why mess with the story? Why mess with the characters when you have essentially the perfect combination of these things? And while it didn't do this retelling perfectly, it was enough to give me a great, emotional, first-time view of this story. The majority of critics have seen the original and hold it near and dear to their hearts, so this was a risk to attempt whatsoever. Do too much, you ruin the story. Do too little, it's a boring retelling. There's always a lose-lose situation for some of this film's audience, but is that what the movie was intended to do? Let's take a look at 2005's King Kong, for example, a film remade using technologies that didn't resonate with people completely. This film, while not as close to the original as The Lion King was made to rein in a new audience and tell the story hopefully better than it was before. That is what I believe 2019's The Lion King was set out to do, and this didn't work for a lot of the critics. For them, this change left out a lot that was present when they watched the film in '94, but not present when they watched this retelling in 2019. And you can't blame them for comparing these, but for me, even if I had seen all of the 1994 film completely, remakes should be judged on their own merits, free from the judgment of a film from a different era. The problem is, whether you like it or not, nostalgia is always a factor. You can't leave your memories at the door of the auditorium most of the time, and that's a problem remakes have and will always have for some time to come.